Yo, yo, yo. We back in it. I don't believe she's returning. But if she does, I'll be surprised. I'll say, okay, that's cool. What next? Um, I ain't tried to play 2K26. Streaming it is hard, man. Like streaming it on YouTube. It copyright me up and down, man. Music. I can't. I think I got a couple videos I can't even monetize because I gotta go trim out the segments. So I feel like the only way we're gonna be able to stream that is if I go in and turn the music all the way off. We can keep the commentators and all that other stuff on, but when it comes to the music, yeah, turn that all the way off. Anyways, we ready to get right into it. Let's go. Let me load up the screen first. That would be pretty wise to do. 1 minute. Alright. I had to load it up. Ready to go. Put in full screen.
So AJ Lee is returning to WWE, and that rhymes, it must be true. And if she's not, WWE has made such a big faux pas that if it does come and go and we do not see this person, the internet is going to melt down. But I am pretty confident that she is about to pop up in WWE. And why? Ow. I'm about to tell you why. Now, of course, the main reason is that WWE and AJ Lee had a chat and they've come to some sort of agreement of a contract. But that's me being a little bit facetious. And actually, when it comes to AJ Lee, she has such a fascinating history within the wrestling industry that it actually digs and goes quite deep. The first headlines, if you do not know, yes, AJ Lee is indeed the real-life wife of one CM Punk. And given that Seth Rollins keeps screwing over CM Punk in the WWE storyline, and that as of Raw, Becky Lynch, who is Seth Rollins' wife, came out and said, "Ha ha, Punk, nobody likes you because you're horrible and nobody cares about your family," we have planted the seeds for a mixed tag at WrestlePalooza, which I think is going down on September 20th. And sure, maybe it's Rhea Ripley, and maybe it's Nikki Bella, but it's absolutely not. It is 100% AJ Lee. And given that this week's episode of SmackDown is in Chicago, which is where CM Punk and AJ live, she's going to be on the show, she's going to be mentioned on the show, or we'll make it very clear that she is going to be at that pay-per-view. Listen, she has quite the fan following, and everybody is going to lose their damn minds. Understandably so. Say what you want about Becky Lynch's heel turn as well. This is some of the best work she had done. And it also does kind of tie into the overall story because Seth Rollins did screw over CM Punk at WrestleMania. He did screw him over at SummerSlam, and now he just did it again in Paris. So if all of a sudden you do have a husband and wife team coming at you, and you know that your wife used to wrestle like 10 years ago, I mean, who are you going to call, man? It's basically the Ghostbusters. I'll also go on to say that I thought Becky and Punk's chemistry was so good, I think they should main event WrestleMania. A somewhat joke that I made on the internet, of course, people thought I was serious, but here is the bigger deal, and actually what AJ Lee could do past WrestlePalooza. She will make a return to the ring, and because people have been clamoring for that for years, well, it's going to make a lot of noise. Now, yes, people have been asking about this for ages, and of course that did increase when CM Punk returned, because there absolutely was a time when it felt like CM Punk was never going to get back to the ring, and therefore AJ Lee was never going to get back to the ring. But as soon as Punk did come back at that Survivor Series, well, you started stroking your beard, and you started saying to yourself, how many times have we seen the unthinkable go down in sports entertainment? So surely at one point AJ Lee will get the itch. WWE will say, damn it, come and scratch it. It is massive though, because of course Punk these days is one of the biggest dudes on the entire roster. So you have to imagine when AJ Lee comes back, she will have a similar sort of nostalgia. So she too could probably place herself right up the card. Aside from a healthy dose of nostalgia, it is important to remember the time and place AJ Lee did exist within WWE. And it was when you were a female talent, my gosh, you had to scratch and claw for everything. You may have seen the story that's done the rounds numerous times. They were even told, the women performers that is, by WWE management, you're not allowed to fight like the guys, and in fact you basically have to scrap like cat fighting, whatever you want to say. That is so absolutely redonkulous. Imagine you did join wrestling to be a wrestler, and then you were told to actively not do that, even if you knew deep down your tum-tum you were better than some of the guys on the damn card. Well, quite rightfully, that's going to piss you off. I think AJ Lee got quite pissed off. Because you have to assume that she was subjected to this as well. Actually, you can go back to Payback 2013, when she had this match with Caitlyn of all people, if you remember her, and people on their internet still talking about today. Like, I'm sure if you compare it to a 2025 match, it doesn't hold up, but given the marginalization that she did have to deal with, well, they went out there and they kicked each other's ass. I mean, you can just tell she didn't want to do any of the divas nonsense or anything like that, so she was actually trying to get around it. I think this is a huge reason a large part of the fan base were like, man, well, she's really cool. We should follow her and see what she's going to do. It also meant she was able to raise slightly higher than most, because also she had the character and promo stuff down. Do you remember when she was the general manager of Raw and she was basically feuding with CM Punk and she was feuding with Daniel Bryan? And do not forget, she was the person that Daniel Bryan kissed before he did get his head kicked off by Sheamus at WrestleMania when he was beaten 18 seconds. Daniel Bryan then blamed AJ Lee and that all kicked off. It was actually some entertaining television with a few parts that made you want to die inside, because back then WWE couldn't help themselves. I suppose you could describe her persona back then as some sort of schizophrenic loon, but because she did play it so well, and because again the audience got behind her, every now and then she got one over her male counterparts too. Like poor Daniel Bryan got slapped a few times. Shouldn't actually say poor, because he most definitely deserved it. That really never happened back then because, of course, the women were always fighting from underneath. And on one show, she actually threw CM Punk and Daniel Bryan through a table when, of course, we have to talk about her own pipe bomb, which actually doesn't get talked about enough these days. Now, of course, the only reason people use pipe bomb in 2013 is because CM Punk, her husband, had done it 2 years earlier. But that's just semantics, man. The things she was saying, well, everybody picked up on this and they thought to themselves, damn it, she's telling the truth. This was August 2013, and she basically turned his attention to what she dubbed the Divas wrestler, because all these people just wanted to be reality TV show stars, whereas she wanted to be a wrestler. So while she had toiled and actually busted her ass to become better in the ring, all they wanted to do was skip down a red carpet in their high heels, and damn it, they weren't even worthy enough to lace AJ Lee's boots. They even called them plastic mannequins at one point, so she wasn't messing around. And once again, back in 2013, no woman was allowed to cut a promo like this. All of a sudden, people gravitated towards AJ Lee, because one, it was different, but two, just to reiterate what we did just go on about, it was accurate. And listen, I don't care if you got into wrestling to become a diva star, but given that was the only option and nobody was actually allowed to be a wrestler, well, if that's the reason you stepped your foot through the doors to begin with, quite rightfully, you're going to be pissed off. And the main reason it was good is because she totally meant it, although it didn't really spark a women's revolution, which of course did happen 2 years later. And who helped be responsible for that? None other than AJ Lee. Because Stephanie McMahon in 2015 did tweet out that she respected Patricia Arquette for standing up in front of a room of her peers and saying, we need equal pay for women. When AJ Lee popped in the comments and said, okay, that's great, but you don't pay your WWE female superstars the same, and also, a lot of them don't even get more than 3 minutes on Raw to showcase their abilities, so how the hell do you ever expect them to get there? You're not giving them proper opportunities. Now, fair play to Stephanie. She did reply saying, I understand where you're coming from, and look, I'm not saying behind the scenes that didn't cause some animosity. I'm sure it did do, but what then started happening on the screen and on social media? The hashtag Give Divas a Chance, and in a few years, finally, and I mean finally, because WWE was way too late for this, it did all start to switch, and yes, the women got more chances. Now again, this was only 10 years ago, not 50, so like I say, WWE should have been way faster than they were, but AJ Lee's tweet was hugely responsible for where we did get. I think it's another reason why the women in the locker room today do see her as some kind of hero, because she had the courage to stand up and say something. And yeah, it's a pretty daring thing to do. This wasn't just a wife of a husband or a husband of a wife who just happened to be doing the same things. They both meant what they did say. And let's not forget that soon after this, AJ Lee also walked away from the WWE because she had actually gone through some horrible times. And that's why, much like CM Punk, nobody thought we were going to see them again. But I guess new WWE is different from old WWE, and that's why you never say never, because you're always going to get never. It did eventually work after a while, even though you could actually see the growing pains on Raw and SmackDown. But go and check out the NXT women's roster today. I mean, there are dozens and dozens of people that could be called up tomorrow, and they'd probably go on to become super duper massive stars. Lee's last match as well was at WrestleMania 31, when she did team up with Paige to take on the Bellas. And this is another reason why she probably was so fed up with it, because her match was given 5 minutes. In case you're interested, the next shortest match was just shy of 14 minutes. So if you were sat there and you'd done that tweet and you sort of make all this noise, you'd be like, well, nothing is changing, man. maybe I should just go home and think about it. Also, I'm done. I want to do other things. It just meant the disparity was real, and of course, they were the only women on that WrestleMania. But this is why AJ Lee coming back is just such a massive deal, and not just because she's the wife of one CM Punk. I mean, aside from just being smart in the sense, if you are about to tip your toe back into the water, a tag team match makes all the sense in the world. It really is, just to reiterate what I just said, a never say never match. I mean, for one, CM Punk and AJ Lee teaming up sounds totally crazy. But what has Becky Lynch said over the years? I would love to work with AJ Lee. And what has AJ Lee said over the years? Well, I would love to work with Becky Lynch. So this could be a one and done, but if it's not, you can then spin out for an intercontinental program between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. I think that would get the fans' interest too. And I tell you, if AJ gets over in the way I expect her to, you could even make her the intercontinental champion and there would be no backlash. And given that she does have this sort of magical star power, because she has been away for so long, it may actually elevate that title even more. Again, look at that US women's title on SmackDown. Let's never do anything like that again. You've also got the massive sense of intrigue, which is going to draw people in, because yes, AJ Lee has been away for over a decade, so how is she going to adapt to a 2025 wrestling world? Am I actually going to use Trish Stratus as an example here? Because she was kicking ass in like 2002, and she came in and said, man, well now you're going to give me the opportunity, I'll show you what I can do, and I bet you AJ Lee is exactly the same. There is no way she's going to drop the ball. She's going to want to make a point, and she's going to want to make sure to put a full stop on it. And I don't think WWE will do this come WrestlePalooza, but I think it has so much interest and so much bizarreness to it in a positive way. It could even main event the show, but yeah, it'll probably be slap bang in the middle instead. But in terms of taking that pay-per-view PLE ESPN debut and making it something so many people are going to want to tune in for, well, that is actually probably going to be the match that does it. I mean, how do we even get here, man? It's totally, woefully insane. And you know this too, because even after the angles in Paris and even after the stuff we did on Raw, there are still some fans going, nope, I do not believe it, and I will not believe it until I see it with my own eyes. And I get it. I mean, they probably just don't want to be disappointed because they've been disappointed so many times before. Wrestling is a good way of doing that. But I don't think this is one of these occasions. CM Punk especially is too damn smart. And also, when France was chanting AJ Lee, what did Becky Lynch say? She didn't ignore all of this. She went, that person doesn't even work here, so maybe you should shut up. So again, I'm recording this on a Wednesday, and I truly believe within 48 hours, AJ Lee is going to be back on WWE TV. This gives me hope for Repo Man. I've been hoping for that for years, and I tell you, my friends, I think it could happen. I don't mean AJ Lee is Repo Man. I'm talking about another surprise return. It should also be a wonderful reminder, though, that all wrestling scenarios should happen, and it really is something we should just enjoy, especially if CM Punk and AJ Lee go out there and totally whoop Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch's ass, which they should do, because they're the babyface and the other people are the heels. All I know is I'm excited and I'm enjoying this roller coaster, given that wrestling is the most important of the least important things, and the clue is in the name, it's sports entertainment. This is a massive tick for me. So good job all round, and it's probably the last video you'll see from this bored asshole before AJ Lee returns to wrestling. We are not in Kansas anymore, Toto. Now, of course, even when you do see this, you'll be like, Simon, you're totally wrong, it's not going to happen. But you can drop me a comment below and let me know about this. Before you like the video, share the video, subscribe, watch my ups and downs, my review from Monday Night Raw when we get into all of this, because that CM Punk and Becky Lynch back and forth is so damn good. Otherwise, my friends, I will be back.
That was something. Appreciate everybody for joining in. I'm gonna do about 2 more videos.